This chapter discusses how companies use information systems to gain a competitive advantage. At the very beginning, information systems were considered backroom operations in support of day-to-day routine tasks. Later, top managers started realizing the strategic importance of information systems and started using information systems to create competitive advantage. The advantage was originally outwardly focused, which means the advantage was used to increase direct competition in the industry, and it is visible to all. For example, strategic systems have been used to provide new services to customers and suppliers. One example can be FedEx. It was the first company in its industry to use IT for tracking the location of every packages in its system. And it is the first company to make this database accessible to its customers over the internet online. The problem of this kind of advantage is it is visible to everyone, so it's easier for the competitors to copy and to do the same thing. When the competitors copy the same activity, then the competitive advantage of the original inventors will disappear. Now, the information systems are used to increase competitive advantages that are inwardly focused. For example, information systems are used to increase employee productivity, to streamline business processes, and to make better decisions. For this kind of advantages, it's hidden, so the competitors are hard to copy or to develop the same kind of information system advantages. This figure is the most important figure in this chapter. It tells us how to determine the information system's structure. It is always business first, information systems second. In order to decide what kind of information systems to adopt or to create, we have to think about our business strategy and business needs. We started with industry structure analysis. The industry structure analysis can tell us how profitable this industry is and also tell us the competitive environment in that industry. Once we decide on the industry structure, we have to decide on a competitive strategy. How do we plan to compete with other companies in this industry? The value chains help us to realize the determined competitive strategy. Value chains are a network of business activities. And then the business processes will tell us how the activities work. How do the activities convert input into output and create values? Finally, the information systems are used to support the business processes. Porter's five forces model can help us to determine the industry structure. The five forces are the power of customers and the power of suppliers, and the forces from substitutions, from new entrants, and from rivalry. This table gives us some examples of strong forces and weak forces. Let's look at the bargaining power of customers. The strong force example is talking about Toyota's purchase of auto paint. In this case, Toyota is the customer and the auto paint industry is the industry we're talking about. Uh, for many auto paint companies, Toyota is their major, if not only, customer. So in this case, Toyota has a big power of bargaining. So for the auto paint companies, their profitability will be very low. The example of weak force is talking about student power over the university. In this case, the student power will be very low, so the university will have a major saying of the procedures and the policies. For the threat of substitutions, the example of strong force is a frequent traveler's choice of auto rental. The substitutions for auto rental can be taxi, can be public transportation, because um, the customers have so many other choices, which means there are a lot of substitutions available. So the auto rental industry profitability will be low. The example of weak force of substitution is patients using the only drug effective for a specific cancer. In this case, there's no substitution at all. So the manufacturer of that drug will be very profitable. For the example of power of suppliers, the strong force example is students purchasing gasoline. In this case, students are customers and petroleum companies will be the suppliers. The suppliers have strong power, so students can only accept the prices set by the petroleum companies. The example of weak force is the green farmers in a surplus year. In this case, the suppliers are the farmers. In a surplus year, the farmers' bargaining power will be low, so they cannot charge high price of their produce. In the force of new entrants, the example of strong force will be the corner latte stand. It's very easy for another person or another company set up another latte stand, which means it's very easy for the new entrants to enter this industry. When the new entrants are easy to enter the industry profitability will be low. The example of weak force of new entrants is the professional football team. It's very difficult to create another football team because when you want to set up a new football team, the capital investment is very high. So this industry is hard for the new entrants to enter the industry. The profitability of football industry will be very, very high. For the rivalry, we are talking about existing competitors. The example of strong force is the used car dealers. In the used car industry, there are already existing competitors. If you think about Wichita Falls, for such a relatively small city, we already have many used car dealers. So the competition will be very strong. The profitability of used car industry will be relatively low. For the example of weak force of rivalry, the example will be Google or Bing is the search engine industry. To compete in the industry, technology, the capital investment, and um, innovation, they're very important. So for the existing competition, there are only a few companies in the existing industry, so the competition will be very low. In order to compete in an industry, there are four generic competitive strategies. One strategy will be a low cost strategy across industry. Another is low cost with focus. For the low cost with focus, the company will focus on a specific industry segment. Also for differentiation, there's differentiation across industry and differentiation with focus. I have four examples here: Walmart, Audi, Apple, and Harley-Davidson. I'll give you a few seconds, allow you to match the four companies to the corresponding strategies. It's easy to understand Walmart uses a low-cost strategy across industry. For Audi, Audi is using low-cost strategy with focus. Audi focuses on a few consumer segments, and for their store, they carry fewer kinds of products compared to traditional supermarkets. For example, their stores carry about 700 products compared to traditional supermarkets who carry about 25,000 products. Uh, for the limited number of products, they provide much lower cost compared to other supermarkets. For Apple, we can consider it applies a differentiation strategy across industry. The industry we're talking about can be the industry of mobile devices. For Harley-Davidson, it uses differentiation strategy with focus. It focuses on motorcycles and focus on a niche market. This niche market has evolved almost to the point of being a club where the customers find their common grounds in the machines they drive. A value chain is a network of value-creating activities. The competitive strategy will be implemented by value chain. If a competitive strategy is low cost, then the value chain activities will need to provide essential functions at lowest cost possible. There are two major types of value chain activities, including primary activity and support activity. In this figure, the primary activities are in blue color and the support activities are in orange color. The primary activities include inbound logistics, operations and manufacturing, outbound logistics, market and sales, and customer service. For the support activities, there are procurement, technology, human resources, and firm infrastructure. Among the activities, there are linkages. Linkages refer to the interactions across value activities. For example, we have sales and marketing, that's primary activity. We also have manufacturer activity. So the linkage between those activities can be the system use sales forecasts, which from the sales and marketing activity to plan better production, more efficient production. The production is the operations and manufacturing activity. A business process is a network of activities that generate value by transforming inputs into outputs. Business processes vary in cost and effectiveness. We can streamline business process to increase margin by adding values and or reducing cost. In this figure, we have an example of business processes. There are three processes here, including materials ordering process, manufacturing process, and the sales process. Let's look at the materials ordering process. In this process, the purchasing clerk will query the raw material database to decide how many raw materials to order. If, according to the raw material databases, the inventory is low, which means we will need to order more raw materials in the near future. Also, for the ordering process, it will update the raw material database. If a new shipping arrives, the raw materials inventory goes up, the number will be updated in the raw material database. For the manufacturing process, when we produce bicycle using the materials, the raw material inventory will go down. So the manufacturing process will update the database to reflect the change in the raw materials. Let's look at how we may improve these business processes to increase our margin. This figure reflects the improved material ordering process. If you pay attention to the ordering clerk, the employee, now in order to order materials, the employee not only query or retrieve data from raw materials database, but also retrieve data from finished goods database. Those two databases, one reflects manufacturing. The raw materials database reflects manufacturing. The more we produce, the more materials will be consumed. The other database reflects demand. The more finished goods we have, the more finished goods inventory we have, the lower the customer demand, which means we're not selling fast enough. Now the clerk, when he or she orders raw materials, the person will consider data from both databases. In this way, the ordering will reflect the real demand of the raw materials instead of only the demand from the manufacturing. The information systems we adopt or created will depend on the competitive strategy. It doesn't mean the better technology we use, the better information system we have, the better the company will be. If you look at the example here, this rental company uses low-cost strategy. For the information systems they use a shoebox to contain all the forms and the data they have. So we cannot see the shoebox is not a good system because for this company, they use low-cost strategy and shoebox, which is a low-cost kind of system, helps them to fulfill the needed functions at a very low cost. This is a different rental company. They provide high service. So their strategy is differentiation, offering high quality service. In order to implement their strategy, their business processes are much more complicated. So they will need more advanced and sophisticated information systems to support their business processes. This figure shows how the information systems can support business processes. Part of the information system are two databases, including the customer database and bike inventory database. Because we have the customer database, we will be able to search for customer information and look up their previous rental transactions. When a customer comes in, the employees already know the customer's preferences, so they can make the correct recommendation to the customer. For the bike inventory database, the employees will know what bicycles are available, and if a bicycle is not available, what other bicycles he or she can recommend to the customer. Also, the information system of the rental company is linked to the hotel bidding system. So for the hotel customers, when they rent a bicycle, their bill can be added to their hotel bills. That is more convenient for the customers to pay. Information systems can provide competitive advantages in the following ways. One way is through product implementations. Another is through process implementations. First, information systems can create a new product or service. The example can be e-government. The government can provide services online to their customers now. You can renew your driver's license online. You can also pay your tax online. That's a new service enabled by information systems. Information systems can also enhance existing products or services. For example, the dose checker system for pharmacy. The pharmacy will prepare prescriptions for patients. The dose checker systems can catch possible interactions between medicines or catch any possible overdoses or mistakes in the prescriptions. Information systems can also help differentiate products or services. For example, at the very beginning, only FedEx offer online tracking of their deliveries. So that system differentiate FedEx from other carriers. For the process implementations, information systems can help lock in customers and buyers. One example can be Amazon. Amazon has the information systems to keep track of your addresses, credit card information, and previous transactions. It's much easier for you to use Amazon to order the products to an existing address, so you don't have to type in any information again. So that will help you help Amazon lock in customers. It can also help lock in suppliers. For example, Walmart, they have information systems linking to their suppliers. Their suppliers will be able to track the inventory. When the inventory of their products become low, the suppliers can automatically send out another shipment to Walmart stores. In this way, the system helps Walmart lock in suppliers. Information system can also raise barriers to market entry. Nowadays, online tracking of packages become a common practice. If you want to enter that industry to help deliver or carry packages for customers, um, the online package delivering and tracking system is a must. That help raise the barriers to possible new entrants. Also, information systems can help establish alliances. For example, the airline industry, they can set up alliances with a rental car company, with a hotel to offer vacation packages. So in order to do that, they have to have their information systems talking to each other.